first round pick.
Hey, throw that list away, all right?
Why are we around? Let's
Yo, welcome to the show. It's a Chiefs Blitz night. Breaking down the plays, keeping everything tight. From Mahomes to the defense, we give you the scoop. Real talk, real stats, we the ultimate troop. This ain't no game, it's our passion on display.
The baby
Chiefs
himself.
Blitz podcast, real fans unite. Every touchdown scored, we ignite the night. From tailgate chatter to post-game debate, we love our Chiefs, yes, never too late.
I would even bring MVS back in the middle of the season.
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar, sponsored by ChiefsBlitz.com, presented by UnderdogFantasy.com. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hence Todd.
All righty, welcome to the show, the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by ChiefsBlitz.com and also Underdog. I'm your host, Nick Athan. That's Mr. Lou Montagna.
Hey.
And the kid, the youngster, the guy from overseas, Mr. Mango himself is running the show today. Hence has the afternoon day off, and so we appreciate all his efforts, but he needed a day off, and he got just that. So, gentlemen,
He's looming, though. He's looming.
He's looming. He's in here somewhere. But welcome to the Friday show. How are you guys doing?
Ready to rock and roll, Nick. Come on. We're that much closer to camp. We're, 11 days away now?
11 days.
There you go. Jalen Royals days away.
If you've been reading my series, I've been doing an article a day leading up to training camp. Today's feature was on Rashee Rice and why I think he should get a contract extension before the start of next season. So there you go.
Interesting.
So I got the boxes out.
That's the time for it, right? I mean, that'll be his fourth year, going into next season. So if you're going to get one done, that might be the time to do it. So the suspension looming for next year. So that's going to be part of the negotiation. So it should be interesting moving forward with all these guys that are up for deals.
Yeah, there are a lot of primetime players up for contracts. We'll be talking about one of them here very shortly. So Mango, if you want to roll the tape on our sponsor,
let's do it.
Now is that time.
Play now in Missouri. If you're looking for a great fantasy game, we've teamed up with UnderdogFantasy.com. You can play $5 and get $50. You can use the special promo code Chiefs Blitz. The game is available in 33 states. Check out the availability map. You must be 18, 19, or 21 years older to play, but it's an outstanding game. The app is very simple. You can deposit and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash for new customers, and make sure you use the Chiefs Blitz code, and so you can register to start playing this amazing game. Play Pick'em on Underdog. You can, with all your favorite NBA players, James, Curry, Ball, anybody and everybody who's in the NBA, you can play higher or lower. It is an amazing product. It's very simple to use. If I can do it, anybody can. And just make sure when you log on to UnderdogFantasy.com, make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz.
That's right. It's pretty easy. Just hit the QR code. Type in the code Chiefs Blitz, deposit $5, get $50 in bonus dollars once you play, and you're off and running. WNBA is hot. Major League Baseball is hot. If you like the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to play some fun odds, some highs and lows and yeses and nos when it comes to the All-Star Game, which will be Tuesday. I'm not sure what city it's in this year, but there you go.
I think it's Atlanta.
Is it Atlanta?
Yep. Well, it used to be Fulton County Stadium, or as they used to call it, the launching pad.
I went to Fulton County Stadium. Dale Murphy.
Dating myself.
Yes.
That was it. Yeah, sure. Hank Aaron at the end of his career.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see if they have any props for the for home run derby, because I'm sure that's going to be that might be more exciting than the game.
Right. No. Most definitely.
Question of the day already. It's got to go to Broncos Chief. Nick, where can I find your music to listen to?
It's not public yet, but
you gotta keep tuning in, Broncos too.
But Hence and I have agreed that we are going to make a music video of Mr. Thunder. So we will debut that at some point this season. And
now,
I'm
going to update it at all? Like Hens will put his treatment on the song.
I don't know. We'll just have to kind of see.
A little.
I mean, I had a guy, a bandmate who kind of produced the whole thing. It's on an old digital tape. So listen, when I worked on my CD quote unquote album, it was in the early 90s, and I got about halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through.
So it's been a minute.
So I wasn't even born.
You weren't even born yet. So I've written some new stuff since, and it is my goal that before I turn 65, which will be in 2 years, less than 2 years now, I'm going to release and create a full 10 to 12 song album, produce nicely, and kind of redo some of the stuff. So that's my goal. I've decided to put my book aside
at a local hotel lounge.
I'm not sure I'm going to sell anything. I just want to finish the damn thing.
Yes, sir. Let's
do like an album live show on the channel. You just play.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, if people want to buy it, I'll take their money. But I don't know if it's worth much. It won't be worth much. So my style is a little different. My voice is a whole lot different.
Return of the crooners.
Yeah, my voice is a lot different now than it was back in my late 20s or when I started, early 30s when I started working on that project.
Sir.
So there you go.
Well, it's a football show.
So, it is a football show.
What do you think, Mango? What's going on?
I think it's time to strike up that damn band, Lou.
Let's go. That's right, folks. It's Friday. You know why you tuned in. It is for the second greatest game on YouTube, Fact or Cap. I'm going to read a series of statements, and you all can decide, hey, the fact, I'm with it. Cap, not so much. So number one, we'll start off. This is kind of a macro thing here. Got the NFLPA versus the NFL. And a couple of weeks ago, I think we had a question about this, or I had a statement about this last week, but subsequently, this thing now is being addressed. There was a finding by an arbiter. It was actually given last January, and you can see why the league and the NFLPA kind of wanted to push this off to the side. It has to do with collusion, and the management council kind of stepping up, saying you got to watch these fully guaranteed contracts. So it goes back to Deshaun Watson. So there's a lot of layers to this right now, but the bottom line is and I think I mentioned it at the time, Pablo Torre did a lot of their research to actually get the ruling and get the pages of it. Mike Florio was involved. But now I believe the NFLPA is now appealing this decision that said that, yeah, there was collusion, but there was no damages. Right. So the statement is this. The outcome of this case will have a huge impact on the next CBA. Fact or cap? Nick.
I'm going to go fact. I mean, any little thing that the owners do and any word of collusion is always going to be brought up in the negotiations with the Players Association. This will be the most difficult deal that the owners and the players are going to put together. Roger Goodell wants to go to 18 games. There's already talk that they're going to exercise their early outs with all of the broadcast networks, which is going to be increasing the revenue to kind of pay for the 18 games to try and convince the players. So, yeah, I think most definitely the fact they kept it quiet, and I think Florio was the guy who brought it out, right?
Well, he and Pablo Torre.
Yeah,
Pablo Torre actually got his hands on the legal decision, if you would, right. The pages that had, and there was a lot of evidence there. I mean, they had conversations between Bidwell and
that's the first
and Spanos.
Yeah, another
because
mistake.
the three contracts directly after Watson were Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, and I think it was Russell Wilson.
Right.
And there was kind of an exchange between Bidwell and Spanos that say, hey, I'm glad you didn't go, full guarantee with your guy. That's going to help us with our guy. And there's a bunch of this stuff in there, which is just amazing. And it just seems like kind of under the radar. They swept it under the rug for the most part. And these guys did a great job. And now it's out there. And they're actually now, the NFLPA CBA appealing it. So somewhere somebody is going to hear this, and they're going to have to.
Well, I mean, outside
see what's what.
Outside of Herbert, of those three names, you know, the other two were foolish signings. So we'll see. Maybe that was the deal. Make stupid signings instead.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is a complete fact. I mean, if somehow the players win this, it is going to be, you know, kind of difficult for the owners now, who right now they share 50-50 in terms of the pie, but the owners pay all the expenses.
Yeah.
So the players actually are getting more than the owners. So they're might be looking at it thinking, okay, wait a second. We're kind of getting screwed in this deal. We're going to have to get some more. If they lose this case, I don't think they're going to have a shot with that. So
yeah. What say you, Mango?
Interesting stuff moving forward.
I think you summed it up pretty perfectly there, Nick. I agree with everything you said. So I'm going to also go with fact.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2. These are Chiefs related now. So there's an extra Chiefs related one. So on the New Heights podcast, Patrick's been on in the past. I mean, Coach Nagy was on most recently, and they both kind of told a story about the pre-draft thing. How, and again, Patrick kind of let the cat out of the bag first.
No, he put the cat out of the bag.
Maybe he's just joking or whatever, but leading up to their one-on-one in Kansas City, where normally, you know, these draft meetings, you know, are 5 to 6 hours long. They put the guy up on the board or whatever, and allegedly Nagy kind of gave Patrick some of the insights that Coach Reed might be looking for in this whole thing. And then Nagy went on the same show and said the same thing. You know, it kind of confirmed the story. So if it is true, we can safely now say that Matt Nagy gets equal credit for having Patrick at the helm of the Chiefs. Fact or cap?
Fact, double fact, and triple fact. And for all those people who still don't think Nagy's a good offensive coordinator, I say this. He's a good offensive coordinator. He's just working under Andy Reid, who's a genius. But I say fact. I mean, you know, I think that whole story was fascinating. When Patrick first talked about that, I mean, I thought it was hilarious. And then Nagy kind of confirmed the other part of the story. And just, you know, again, just adds to the lore and the magic and the opportunity for Kansas City to get Patrick Mahomes in town. And he didn't let the cat out of the bag. He threw the cat on the wall and made sure his claws stuck to get a deal, to make sure the Chiefs understood what it was going to take. And the only time I'm saying something nice about John Dorsey, he fleeced the Buffalo Bills, and he held that trade in check. Even though they'd agreed to it the day before the draft.
I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due, and I think Nagy definitely deserves that. But yeah, big fact.
Yep. Yeah, a little tongue-in-cheek here, but yeah, absolutely. Come on, Nags, let's go. Good job, man. All right, last and not least, we'll be talking about this a little bit more in detail moving forward, but Trey Smith and his contract, right? And I don't know, Kay Adams now has a pipeline into the Chiefs locker room. I think she's had just about everybody on her show at one point or another. But on there, Trey publicly stating his confidence that a deal is going to get done. He didn't seem like flustered about it at all when got the question or whatever. So the statement is this: absolutely genius PR move by Trey, putting the onus on the organization now. So fact or cap?
Yeah, fact, 100% fact. I mean, I think Trey Smith has handled it perfectly. You know, he knew he was in line for a payday. He accepted the franchise tag. He signed it very quickly and said, "Hey, yeah, you want to give me $23 million guaranteed? Come on, I'll take it." Remember, he was a 6th round pick. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's got 2 Pro Bowls. You know, he's just incredible. And you know, we'll talk a little bit more. But I think Lou here says, hey, you know, $52 million guaranteed in the first 2, total $96 million. I'm going to have a little bit more of an update to this here in a few minutes. But yeah, fact for sure, he's played this perfectly well.
Once again, going to have to go with, I mean,
agreeing with the elders today.
If I ever needed a PR person, not that I should ever need one, I'm gonna hire Nick because he's saying everything.
I work cheap.
And but yeah, I mean, I think it's in Veach's hands now, really, whether or not it gets done.
Yeah,
we'll
talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah.
And the reason I say 52 million the first 2 years guaranteed is that if he plays under the franchise tag this year, it's like 23.4. If they were to franchise him again next year, it would be like 28 million.
That's 28.
So basically, those first 2 years, that's almost like locked in, that 52 for the first 2 years, and then they can kind of haggle over the rest. But yeah, absolutely, just again, it's the Kay Adams show, whatever. But
we love Kay
the way he presented it, and just is like, yeah, this is no big thing. It's a done deal for the most part, and here we go. So that's going to do it, gang. Thanks for playing along. This week's version of Fact or Cap, and as always, brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy Sports. There it is. There's the QR code. I believe that's what it's for. Scan it. Play 5. They'll give you 50 in bonus. Can't beat it. And then Nick is going to kick in. Nick is going to kick in out of his personal collection. Come on now.
I have a whole drawer full of them in there. I just organized them all
go
last
ahead.
week.
Got to play to win. Got to play to win.
That's right. All right, man. Go lead us to the next topic.
All right, fellas. There's a bit of an elephant in the room. We don't want to hang around this too long, but it needs to be addressed. Nick, I'm going to let you start with this.
All right. Well, obviously, everybody has seen the Kevin Keatsman text post talking about Patrick Mahomes and the stuff he's done in the offseason and how he looks. And, listen, first of all, I know Kevin. I've known Kevin a long time. And, Kevin he's got his shtick down. This is what he does. And I take exception. I don't think it's our job in the media to comment about, someone's weight or what they do in the off season. It's one thing if they're in the football season and they look out of shape or they look slow or, they don't look as fast or as, they don't move as much. All those things are fine. But when we start taking the personal angle into having conversations come up about Chiefs players or anything in particular. Now, we may dislike a player because we don't like the way he plays on the field. Like, I've talked a lot about, I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to win a Super Bowl. Doesn't mean he's not a great quarterback. And for Patrick, here's a guy who's done nothing but give to this franchise. He's given them a major deal in his contract. He has saved money to sign other guys. And I think when we are nitpicking to get eyeballs or to get clicks, it's just stupid stuff. It's stupid. It's just not the right thing to do. You shouldn't be talking about this, unless he's making a plug for Taco Bell or DoorDash. I really know the point here as to what he possibly could say that makes any of this worth, the amount of run that it's gotten. And I don't want to belabor the point. I just simply want to say, it's not our job to take a look at what these guys do or don't do in the off season. It's not our job to be critical, and it's certainly not our job to get this personal. That's not what we're here for. So if he wants to make his comments public, that's entirely up to him. He deserves the backlash. Props to Bobby Stroop, who came in and defended Patrick, and a lot of other people did as well. So it's out there. People are talking about it. It's probably going to be a dead story by the end of the day or this weekend, but that's just my take.
Yeah, I guess it's just more grist for the mill in terms of Patrick. If he's even, heard about this, or I'm sure somebody's brought it to his attention. But when you start making comments like that, like you have personal knowledge of these things and you really don't, again, it's just an incendiary comment that to get people riled up and to get some more ears to your show, whatever it is. And I get that. That's what you got to do. I think sometimes when you're in that position, you have that platform, the last thing you want to do is just sound like a total homer and just everything that the team does, everything they do is the best and the greatest. And these guys, you're just a cheerleader for the team.
Right.
But I think what happens is people overcorrect. And now it's going to be, I'm not just going to be down the middle, I am going to be like, any little thing that the team does that just doesn't look quite right, I'm going to get out in front of it, and I'm just going to lay.
Yeah, well, that's the way social media has become anyway, which is sad.
So, so again, it grist for them, whatever you want to call it, but it just seems like, I don't know. I mean, you read that, and it's just, I think most people that read that would say, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, there isn't a more professional player, I believe, on the team. Anybody that puts more into getting better, if in fact that there was something keeping him from performing in these games, or that he hasn't, won 3 out of 5 Super Bowls, been, his floor being the AFC Championship game in overtime, losing a couple.
Right.
Come on. So anyway, yeah, it comes up. We're here. Yeah, we can give our opinion. There's nothing personal against Kevin or anybody, for that matter. But we can look at the statement and say, this is done with a little bit of purpose and maybe a little axe to grind too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in essence, it's a bit of a non-story, really, but you never like seeing that kind of stuff written about
from a local person too. It's not a national person. What do you do? Come on.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Exactly.
What did the barber say? Next.
The question that's on everyone's mind, right? Well, it's on mine at least. I'm sure it's on you fellas as well. Should we be worried about the upcoming deadline for this Trey Smith extension, Nick?
I'm going to say no. I think that the verbiage that I've received in the last couple of days has been at the goal line. So I think that they are very close to a deal. I don't think Trey Smith signs his comes to mandatory minicamp. I don't think he goes on the Kay Adams show. I don't think he's said this many times in the offseason. Kansas City's is his home. This is where he's grounded. He wants to stay. The Chiefs are serious about washing away the stench of Super Bowl 59. This is how you do it. You keep Trey Smith. And I think the thing that kind of leaned me toward this is probably going to happen was, when he was talking to Kay Adams, he said, I have nightmares about protecting Patrick Mahomes. I worry in my sleep. I mean, that's how devoted and comfortable he is in his situation. So I do think it's going to be closer to maybe 75 to 80 million guaranteed. I think they're going to have to kick in that third year, so he gets the first 3 years. It'd probably be a 5-year deal, probably close to 100 million or more. Maybe they stretch it out to a 4-year deal. I'm not really sure, or they have a team 5th option. But, his agent is the same as Trent McDuffie's. So you have to make sure that you handle the Trey Smith right. Listen, they put a ton of money in Creed Humphreys. They put a ton of money. Going to put a ton of money in Trey Smith. They gave Juwan Taylor an unprecedented amount of money for a right tackle. They have Josh Simmons. They're guaranteed 14 million for the balance of his contract. They signed Jalen Moore. He's getting 15 million guaranteed. So there's a lot of reason to think this is where the smart money should go. It should go in your offensive line. So from everything I'm hearing, I would be surprised if the deal is not done before the Wednesday deadline. Let's just put it that way.
Lou, where do you kind of sit on this? Obviously, we put your tweet up earlier. We'll put it up again. But where do you kind of sit on the Trey Smith situation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say those are like loose parameters as far as what the deal might look like. Whether they get there by the 15th, that who knows? Whether I'm worried about it, not necessarily, because he's definitely under contract for next season. Now, moving forward, you definitely don't want to go into free agency and have to franchise tag him again. But from the Chiefs' perspective, they might be looking at it, hey, we're going to have to pay him this much guaranteed anyway. Why do we need to extend it at this point? And I'm not saying that's their strategy going into the negotiations, but if they don't necessarily come to terms with his agent, they can feel good about the fact that, hey, we're going to pay him 52 over the next 2 years. We're just this year is going to be this franchise tag, and then next year the next franchise tag. Again, you don't want to do that because the player wants to be extended. So, it takes two to tango. We'll see. I'm sure both sides want to get this done. Whether they do it or not, we'll see how the agent feels about it. And if Trey maybe gives a little bit just because he wants to stay, we'll see. But, deadlines make deals. So when is that? Wednesday?
I believe it's Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, the 15th, whatever.
Yeah, 15th at 4:00 Eastern time.
Stay tuned.
We've had some breaking news in the last 6 minutes, and I just want to say it's not Trey Smith related before everyone gets their hopes up. So a former member of the Chiefs front office, I'm sure you're all familiar with the name Ryan Poles, who's now in Chicago.
Yes.
Has just signed a 5-year extension as general manager over there. Yeah.
Good for Ryan.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
Ian Rappaport.
Nice. Good for Ryan. Good dude. I mean, he's got a terrific head coach. You got Kevin Warren as the team president, who will be probably between him and Mark Donovan, the next NFL commissioner in 5 or 6 years. And, he's in a good position, and congrats to him. I mean, he had a great offseason. He had, a tough early part of his career starting wise, with a lot of things that were out of his control. But Chicago's moving up. Chicago's may not be a playoff team this year, but I think they'll definitely be a playoff team beginning in 2026.
I agree. Nick, what are the people saying in the comments section?
Crystal, maybe. There we go. I agree with you 100%, Lou. 4 years and 3 years guaranteed. Trey is staying. Let's see. What? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Question A: what does this body look like that's compared to?
Hence.
Let's see. He's been hating on Mahomes because he's better in life. I guess we can get rid of him a little bit. I think the sentiment is for the Chiefs. I think to answer this question in a little bit different way is this, and I want to get you guys' opinion. We saw that yesterday with Kay Adams talking to Xavier Worthy, and how Patrick Mahomes is just in a different place. And, all those people criticizing Patrick and he's down year and and all the gloom and doom. Everybody wants the Chiefs' demise. I think that mentality is probably a reason why I think the Chiefs are going to try to keep their core of players together and pay them. And I don't think Patrick Mahomes wants to go into the season with Trey Smith having to worry about next year. And I think you're going to start to see Patrick Mahomes' influence on the roster, just like he made comments about the stadium stuff, which we'll talk to in a couple of minutes. But I think when you look at where the franchise is now, embarrassing loss, all the chips are in. I think this is the best offseason that they've had. I think this is the best 53-man roster that they're likely going to have in any time in Patrick Mahomes or the Andy Reid era. So, and it's all because they've been very aggressive. They've signed good players. They've drafted well. And I think that means they're going to keep guys like Trey Smith and George Karlaftis and Rashee Rice and Trent McDuffie, because that's what you do if you want to have a winning franchise, and you fill the gaps in with good draft picks. So Patrick's mentality, I think, has a lot to say about the future of the Chiefs.
Well, going into this off season, I think I want to say this was going to be the most critical off season for Brett Veach's career, because this is going to kind of shape the next iteration of the Chiefs. And again, it has a lot to do with those two guys that got their 5th-year options picked up. It has to do now with the offensive line, Trey Smith, and what they're going to do, with Jawan Taylor moving forward, and all these different things. As far as Patrick's concerned, again, it's not Patrick anymore compared to the rest of the league. I mean, is it Patrick compared to Tom Brady? Is it Patrick just compared to Patrick? because he comes out of the gate his first year starting and has one of the greatest individual seasons that a quarterback has done in the NFL history. So when he doesn't put up gaudy numbers, and again, I mean, we're going to have a whole show about this and like what the last couple of years have been with the lack of explosive plays. I don't think it all has to. Now, sure, he has missed a bunch, but by the same token, look at the receiving core, look at the offensive line issues and everything. So, going back to what that guy said, it was just, if you look at it deeper and you just look at this as a football team, not a fantasy football statistics and whatever, that this guy is doing exactly what he needs to do to get this team in the best position to win championships. And I don't think there's any question about that.
Right.
Period.
I agree.
Right. The big one. I think Nick's pretty excited to talk about this. Nick, what's going on at the stadium?
Oh, here we go. The saga never ends. I've had 3 phone calls today. So this is kind of what I think. This is kind of like the culmination of what the Chiefs and the Royals are going to do, because the Chiefs are affected by the Royals just as much as the Royals are affected by the Chiefs. So KCTV5 this morning put up something that said that Clay County is going to put up a measure to do a sales tax similar to what Jackson County is going to do. If anybody has seen, and then the Royals have told Clay County, hey, let's put some parameters together. Let's see if we can come up with a scenario. The drawings for the Clay County one, I don't know if you have that or not, but the drawings for the Clay County site are fabulous. I like them much more than I like the KC Star site as well. The Royals really want to stay in Kansas. I think the rumor is that they'll, the 119th and null location for the Royals, and I'll set this up with the Chiefs here in a second. The 119th, there's a lot of resistance that's going to be building for them to put it in the heart of Johnson County. There's a lot of infrastructure that would have to be built, highways, streets, access, not to mention the construction issues that are going to come up and the way the traffic's going to be affected near town center. So I think for them to look at the Clay County situation, be close to the river, rebuild that area, which is kind of like an Italian, district kind of thing, where they're.
Hey, come on!
No, nothing wrong with that. No. All good.
Let's
so I think
go.
I think that's definitely
Jack's Italian Army.
Yeah, I don't like the Washington Park location for the Royals right next to Crown Center. I just think they're going to have the same problems with the same apartment people and the same businesses going to have to be relocated. If they go to Clay County, they basically have a handful of old businesses that have been around forever. They'll get shiny new buildings somewhere else, and I think they'll be fine with it. For the Chiefs, now that the Star Bonds have been given another extension, the issue is very simple for the Chiefs. They really want a dome stadium. I don't think they can build that dome stadium on the site of Arrowhead, which means, okay, let's assume they stay in Missouri, and I'm probably leaning more toward Missouri now than I was for Kansas before. There's only a handful of places they could go. They can't really build out at Arrowhead Stadium. Independence Center could be a great idea. They've got a ton of land. Bannister Mall, where the Cerna facility is, might be a good location, but unless they want to go north of the river. And the problem with going north of the river is if the Royals go north of the river, you can't have 2 teams up there. They just financially, I don't think they can support it. But if you're hoping that both franchises stay in Missouri, here's the good news. The good news is that the states will kick in about 50%. The tax, if approved, will be another 30%. That's 80% of the costs. Plus, with tax breaks, that's another 10%. So that means Missouri is willing to go upwards of 90% of the total cost for whatever the vision is for the Chiefs or the Royals, versus Kansas that right now is at 70%. So they would have to put more money in the coffers to make it work. And then the debate becomes, does Kansas want 1 franchise or 2 franchises? If I was them, the Royals offer more dates, more games, a longer season, and a lot more foot traffic. And if the Royals become a good team again, I mean, a really good team again, you're talking about a lot more dates. If they want the Chiefs, then the Wyandotte County area is the perfect location because they've got everything ready to go. The bottom line is if this is done right and the sales tax is approved in Missouri in November in both counties or one county, then the teams have a big decision to make. For Kansas, they don't want to wait around. I mean, they've given the Royals and the Chiefs kind of an extension here, but they don't want to look like fools. I was surprised that the vote was 8-0 to extend the star bonds. They've already given some star bonds to the University of Kansas for their Gateway project. So some of this money has already been allocated into the state of Kansas, into like Emporia State and some other schools within the state. So bottom line is this. Jackson County has until the end of August to make sure the vote goes on the ballot. And they have to write it properly so Jackson County taxpayers understand this is just an extension of the stadium tax, not a new tax. So it's going to be a third cent, quarter cent, 25 cents, whatever it is. You know, we don't know yet, but they have to get it done. There's a lot of internal politics in Kansas City, Missouri that are going to make this a very difficult thing to do. Bottom line is I thought we'd have clarity by now. We're not going to have clarity for a while. The next key date is going to be August 20th or 24th. And that point, you're going to see if it gets on the ballot. Now, Clay County can get this on the ballot immediately. There's no issues there. But there's some fractions in Kansas City that might prevent that from happening. So at the end of the day, if you ask me today, I think there's a chance both teams stay in the state. I still think ultimately, when it's all said and done, I think one's going to be in Kansas and one's going to be in Missouri.
Now, Lou, recently you sat down with the incredible Adam Teicher, and I believe you touched upon this subject a bit. Obviously, we want to hear your opinion, but what can you tell you from Adam's insight about the subject? What did you learn?
Well, Adam didn't go into any of the politics of the whole thing. I think he just, from his perspective and knowing Clark as long as he's known him and the Hunt family, that, you know, just sentimentally, they are very, very much attached to Arrowhead where it's at. Not necessarily where it's at, but I guess just the idea of Arrowhead, which to me, I would think is doing whatever they can to save that space. Yes, I think ultimately they would want a dome, but I think they also would have to, I think, how many Super Bowls are they going to get? I mean, I don't know that anybody
in a 25-year period, they'll get one or two.
I don't know that the league would guarantee that. I don't know that dome or not.
They have guaranteed them one.
Having that destination for a Super Bowl, just to me, just I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I think. I don't live there. I don't have any attachment to it. But you typically just look at the destination cities: LA, Las Vegas, Dallas, Miami, New Orleans, you know, places like that. And typically those Midwestern cities, maybe like you said, Nick, they do get one. They tried Minneapolis. Again, I don't know what the economic impact was or whatever, or, you know, how many people they got there. It's just, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, me, again, I don't have a kind of a dog in the
Oops. We lose him? I think we paused him here. So let me kind of continue. We'll continue with that. Let me clarify a couple things. One, the Chiefs will get a Super Bowl if they have a new dome stadium. There is it's not going to just be a stadium. It's going to be infrastructure, hotels, shops. It's going to be restaurants. It's going to be potentially living apartments and things like that. So there's a lot of things that could come up that are going to be part of a destination place, which would solve the criteria for not only Super Bowl, they would be in the Final Four rotation because Kansas City has a rich tradition with the Big 12 tournament, and they know that they'll do things right. Plus, obviously, with the World Cup coming to Kansas City next year, they know that they can do what they need to do. So I think I think overall you have to look at that And again, the Chiefs really want a dome stadium. And, I know that some people are against that. But for me, the money is too great. If you're going to spend $3 billion, why not spend $4 billion? You're going to recoup that money in fees. You'll be in the rotation for the NFL combines, which is going to start rotating out of Indianapolis. You're going to have track and field events. You're going to have Taylor Swift concerts. You're going to have, all sorts of really cool things that you can do in a dome stadium. So I think for me, again, Clark Hunt has to decide on the sentimentality of Arrowhead. Even going as deep, I think, is like, you look at, for people who've been inside the guts of Arrowhead, like I have, just the Lamar Hunt suite is just an iconic heaven for collectors like me. I would never leave the place. It's got a kitchen and 2 bedrooms, and it's an incredible house that they built inside. So, you've got all that familiarity. You've got that rich tradition. Your father founded the AFL. He moved the franchise. So there's so many things that are in play here. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to do what's right. And I think they're going to take advantage of the opportunity they have, knowing that Patrick Mahomes, number 15, is going to be their quarterback. So I think wherever these teams go, I would say if they work it out and they find the locations that are not part of Truman Sports Complex, they will break ground at some point next year, both places. So we'll see. But it ain't going to be resolved anytime soon.
I think the idea of winning a Super Bowl in your own stadium is pretty cool.
That would be pretty great.
Now the question of the day: which was the last NFL team to win the Super Bowl in their own stadium? And you fellas should know this one.
Well, Tampa and the Rams went back to back, so the latest one was the Rams.
Yeah. No, Tampa. It was Rams first, then Tampa, right? No.
My information is Tampa when they beat us when we had like the second
Super Bowl 50.
Yeah.
And 51 was the Rams, right?
Oh, it might have been actually.
Yeah, I
think the Rams was more recent.
Yeah, Rams was the most recent. So
you might have got me there, guys.
No, that would be great. Let's be honest. I was in Tampa when the Chiefs came, and that was during COVID, so it just wasn't worth the. I'm glad I didn't pay the ticket price, even though they weren't that expensive. But still, yeah, it's a cool thing. And again, this is a community thing. This isn't just a stadium. That's why the Chiefs had to be really careful. If they could build a dome stadium and the surrounding things that they want at Truman's Complex, they would do it. But they can't wait for the Royals to leave. That puts Patrick Mahomes in the late 30s. Who knows if he's playing football in his late 30s? I think he wants to, but he's made it pretty clear he's not going to play in his 40s. So he's got 10 years left to make the most of it. And for the Royals, you got Bobby Witt Jr., who you've locked in for potentially 12 more years. You got Jack Caglione, and you've got a really good core of young players that I think are going to be pretty exciting when they come up to the big leagues in the next year or two. So be smart here, guys. Do what's best, I say, for the next generation of fans versus the older generation like me and Lou. I get the sentimentality of it all, but when you have this kind of opportunity and you've got states willing to pay for the majority of it,
yes,
just make the right decision. Don't renovate Arrowhead and have this be a problem in 20 years for your heirs. That's all I have to say.
Public funding, private profits. It's a great country.
Well, but listen, the Chiefs, to be clear, the Royals are putting upwards of $1.5 to $1.6 billion of their own money to build the stadium. Now, that was the plan for the KC Star site. The Chiefs would have to put up at least $500 million or $1 billion of their own money to, build whatever they're going to build. So now I like this idea. Put them on state line and let both states pay. I could see if, let's say, the Chiefs hypothetically choose like the Bannister Mall location or somewhere out South Jackson County, then I could see where they might want to see if they can get some help from Johnson County and a by-state tax because 60 to 65% of the season ticket holders are from Kansas for both the Chiefs and the Royals. So, that's another factor too. That's why I think the Independence Center or going North Kansas City for the Chiefs, it might be a little bit more difficult for the Royals. Clay County isn't all that, that much farther to where it's going to be because it's just right across the river, from downtown. So again, it's a big problem. It's a big problem, and we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna reel
Nick. I don't think it's a problem. I mean,
it is a problem because the Chiefs and the Royals are trying to do their own thing, but they're still intertwined, and it's a problem. They've got to come to a happy median.
Folks, or at least running the Chiefs. So I think ultimately, I think the decision they make is going to work out best for the franchise moving forward. And if that means that they miss some of Patrick's prime years, it's a much larger decision than just having Patrick play in the new place.
Tom's throwing the hammer down. It will be the start of a curse. Come on, I don't think it's going to be a curse, but.
House of Horrors.
Yeah, I know. BowTie's source. I know who his source is. Saying they're going to stay at Arrowhead, unless they can put a dome on that structure, buddy. I just don't see it. But we can debate this many, many times.
Right, fellas. I'm gonna give you 6 names, and I want you to tell me what they have in common.
All right, go.
Besides being on the Chiefs roster.
All right.
Okay. Jaden Hicks, Chamari Connor, Dion Bush, Brian Cook, Mike Edwards, and Major Williams.
They're all safeties, right?
Is there room for one more, Nick?
There is room for one more.
No, there isn't.
Well, there is for one more, depending on a couple of those guys not making the roster. I think Bush.
Yeah, several of those guys will not be on the team.
Yeah, several guys. Now there is a rumor I heard that if the Chiefs and Trey Smith get a deal done, and they do shrink the cap number, his franchise tag number this year, there is some interest in Justin Simmons, the former Broncos. Someone's emergency response is going on. Justin Simmons could be interested in playing for Kansas City. Now he's looking for a big contract, 1 year, kind of $8-9 million, kind of similar to what they paid Carlos Dunlap when he came over. Kind of that 1 year massive deal. He got $8 million plus from Atlanta last year. He played really good last year. Now, the question is he better than Cook? Quite possibly, even at 32 years old. He's smart. He's been one of the best safeties in the league for the last 10 years. Yeah, he's a Broncos guy, but hey, we gave you Neil Smith for a couple years. And I think even Dale Carter went over there for a couple of years.
Thorn in the Chiefs' side for
exactly.
So while he was in Denver. But I mean, they already let him go once. I don't think that's a big deal. I think they just have to weigh, the difference between what they have to pay him, having that veteran guy in the back end versus letting the young guys continue to develop and in-game action. Yeah. So again, I don't know. We'll see what cap space is created, but even if that number meets that 8 or 9 million, does it make sense? Right. Again, and it all depends. It'll tell us how they feel about those guys, right? If they feel very confident in Brian Cook and being able to extend him, or they feel that he can play, continue to develop. Okay, is Jaden Hicks that guy back there? Is Mike Edwards veteran enough to kind of keep those guys in, I don't want to say in line, but just kind of give them that veteran leadership? Because, if you do bring in Justin Simmons, even if you don't, several of those guys are gone, for sure. But if you do bring them in, now you have to pick one more guy that is going to be gone. So should be interesting. I never know. Not a lot of veteran signings lately.
Yeah, I think Hicks and Simmons would be a really good combination. And Justin Reed was talking about Hicks. I saw a quote either yesterday or today, talking about him in particular, and he said he can do everything. He can tackle, he can cover. He's smart, he's intelligent, he's a playmaker. And he goes, we all saw that last season. And I think that's pretty high praise from the guy that, he took a lot of his snaps. So, listen, I love Hicks. I think he's going to be a great player, but I think a veteran like Simmons would be a really big addition for this defense, I think.
Oh, I had a sentence and it's just gone.
Uh-oh.
Hate that. Nick, give me a sleeper on offense and defense this upcoming season. One each.
Okay. One sleeper on defense is going to be Leo Chanel is going to have a career year.
Love that.
I just have a hunch. I just have a hunch. Offensively, I'm going to go with Jawan Taylor is going to have a breakout year.
I don't know if I like that.
Now, what would that look like?
That would be less penalties and dominating on the right side, like he was in Jacksonville.
Yeah. But if he does that, do they keep him?
I don't think they keep him either way.
Right, okay.
But, that means they can put, more at left guard if they wanted to. Now, Moore, from all accounts, is probably going to start opening day at left tackle. So then it's going to be a matter of injury and moving guys around. But listen, I think the Chiefs have a really good situation offensive line. I don't know. Taylor, he's gone through the knee issue. He knows this is probably his last year in Kansas City. If he wants to get paid again, he's probably going to have a great year. And I think he's had so much abuse in the first 2 years in Kansas City. Some of it justified, some of it self-inflicted, some of it was just the NFL and the refs decided to make an example of him, and he was the poster child for all this nonsense noise about where offensive linemen are lined up and, hip and helmet and knees or ankles or whatever it is. And he just got caught in the crosshairs. I think he knows the writing's on the wall. I think he's going to have a great year. I could be wrong.
Sweet Lou.
Well, I think we've talked about so many of these guys. I don't know if there's really any sleepers left. But let me say, I think Shamari Connor is going to have if he gets back to kind of like what he was doing at Virginia Tech, where he can kind of, not necessarily play in the box, but kind of be kind of that robber type and not have to cover man to man a ton. I think he can be that sleeper on defense. And then on offense, again, I've been talking about Brashard Smith since January, so I'm not going to say he's a sleeper. 50 Shades, that was last year, but I still think he's going to be a big part of the offense. So can we have a sleeper on offense? I don't know that we can.
I think there can be. There may be somebody who emerges, maybe Elijah Mitchell comes out and just becomes an elite running back.
I just think that, if somebody emerges from the backfield, I think it'll be Brashard Smith. Let's go. I'll go with Jalen Royals. Let's see him actually take that number 4 position and then maybe even challenge for the number 3 spot, if he gets things going by the end of the year.
Nice. People, this might be a controversial one for my offensive sleeper because he is a well-known quantity in the offense. However, I feel like people are just sleeping on him this coming season. And I think if we have the fully healthy offense, it's going to open a lot of room in the middle of the field for one Travis Kelce. And I think he's going to have a really incredible season. And I think people are... Why are you laughing, Lou? Why are you laughing?
Well, he's like, he's like one of the... if not the greatest tight end. And then
absolutely. But I think people are just...
Maybe, it's kind of looking at it. This is the end kind of thing. Yeah. And he slowed down.
Yeah,
sure.
Man, that might not be the end, folks. Might not.
Well... Let's hope it's the end for Jawan Taylor, because the only Taylor I want in Kansas City is Taylor Swift. My defensive sleeper, it was going to be Tramari Connor, but I feel like I can't go for that now. And then my second one was Leo Chanel, so you fucked me there, boys. Thanks. So I am going to go for...
Plenty of room on the bandwagons, Mango.
Do you know what? I think Jalen Watson's going to have a year.
All right.
I think we're just going to see a progression, and I think he's not going to get injured once.
Well, he wants to get paid, and he deserves a contract. That's for sure.
Knock on wood.
I don't think he's going to get paid in Kansas City, though.
Well, if they have to pay McDuffie, and depending on Noel. Noel's development in his rookie year is going to go a long way toward that, because I think, there's some really good free agent cornerbacks out there.
Yeah. You see what you can kind of tell when they're drafting these guys, kind of what the plan is, right, as they're funneling people through. Pick and choose, who you're going to extend more than likely. I think you're right about Jalen Watson. You hate to see him go. I love him as a player, but you can't pay everybody top dollar. Now, again, if somehow he was to fit into, he has a good enough year where they think he can be the starter moving forward. If Christian Fulton just doesn't play very well, or Noel Williams doesn't play very well, then he's that guy. Then, maybe they do bring him back. But, it'll be interesting to see, that class that was so kind of like ballyhooed and they led them to that Super Bowl. How many of them are actually going to stick around?
Yeah. Oh, he's off again.
I have some breaking news.
Evidently, so do I.
Mikel Garcia.
911 outage.
Third baseman Mikel Garcia is now going to be on the All-Star roster. He has just been promoted to the All-Star game.
I'm guessing he's a Royal.
He's a third baseman who has some pretty good stats. He's had a really good season here. He's kind of the fourth wheel of the offense right now, and assuming that Cags can continue to hit home runs, and the Royals are playing the Mets this weekend. I cannot wait.
He's got to focus on getting his average above 200 first.
Well, he'll get there. I think he'll get there.
But he still can. Man, he gets a hold of it.
Yeah, and Carlos Estevez, a closer, also was just named to the All-Star game. So the Royals now have 4 guys on the roster. That's impressive.
Nick, what are our lovely viewers saying in the comments? Who are the
all right?
Is that a newbie?
See.
How about Mark Hernandez? Let's give him some love.
Everything that can be done, it was done in the last remodel. Arrowhead is outdated. Fans know the 1.15 upgrade is a waste of money. Only have to do it again. Well, I'm not saying it's pig with lipstick, but it's gotten a lot of lipstick and it's held out pretty well. BowTie
Let's Jared Wiley. Thanks for jumping in, man.
Tell your friends. That, Mark. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Jared Wiley is the sleeper on offense. No Williams on defense. I think those are pretty good.
I think Tom Hood had a good one.
Broncos tube. Nick Bolton will have an off year. Hey, he just got his money, so it's possible. Crystal Lee obviously likes Josh Simmons and Thornton. Let's see. Royals would be a sleeper. Juju. I know how Mango feels about Juju, and I have the same sentiment to him. I think he's just an amazing person and amazing player, and I think he'll do better than 2 touchdowns and 300 yards receiving this year.
We kind of talked about it when they signed him, is he can actually be kind of more of the tight end type.
Yep. Which is what he did last year.
Because of his size and just his ability to kind of take on some blockers and be effective over the middle of the field. But if Royals has a really good camp, he's not getting cut, but he has a really good camp and he does take that number 4, maybe 3, more than likely the 4 slot. And I think Mango was talking about Nico, and then they throw that out there where Worthy's the best punt returner on the team. You don't want him doing it full time, but
I was surprised
that cuts into like Nico's game, whatever. So I don't want to say it out loud, but Juju's going to have to do some work to make the squad. I think. I truly do.
I think he's going to make it. I don't think Remigio is going to make it.
Wow. Sorry. Blasphemous in these parts, Nick.
Sky Moore, Tommy, man, love you, man. That would be a shocker. That would be the ultimate shocker. And I hope it happens. He's a good kid.
I hope Mark Remigio was not tuned into this episode, honestly.
Who's that?
Nico's dad.
Listen, if they're talking about putting Worthy back there in special teams, that changes the equation. That means, that speaks volumes to me. So that means he's going to have to really excel in on the offense. He's going to have to be able to do more things offensively, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you'd think just another year in the program, whatever. I think his size might work against him a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because, he's not the biggest guy. And if you've got, Xavier kind of, not saying he is the slot guy, but he's going to get a lot of snaps in that role. Mm-hmm. You see Rasheed in there sometimes. Travis splits out. So he's got a long road to hoe to carve out anything on the offense. So when you're strictly special teams, that's iffy, especially if you got a bunch of guys that are good enough to return kicks and return punts.
Yep. No, I agree.
Lou, do I have a question for you?
All right, let's go. Is that a question, or you do have one?
I do have one.
All right.
Okay. The Chiefs roster as it stands, who are your top 5? Number 1 being your favorite, 5th being
favorite or okay,
well, I'll let you interpret it how you.
Okay, I'm just gonna say most valuable, whatever.
Okay.
Obviously, you started to say. Patrick, this whole thing just runs through him. So, that's not really a controversial take. Number 2, I would say just Chris Jones, just because of the fact of how he can turn a game. And not necessarily that he's going to put up huge stat lines during the course of the regular season anymore, but I think he can turn it up and change a game when he needs to. So I would say Chris Jones for sure. I'm going to get number 3. Probably going to go just because as much as Spags loves him, I'm going to say Nick Bolton.
Love that.
Again, maybe not the most talented or top 5 talent, but as far as just important to the team and what he means to that defense, I'll put Nick at 3. I don't know. This is like kind of breaking it, but just the offensive line.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Right. I would say it would be like number 4, or if you had to put a name on it, probably going to be Trey Smith at this point.
Interesting.
And then number 5, I'd probably go with Rasheed, because I think he really has a chance to elevate himself, just not on the team, but in league circles to a top 10 level, if not, starting to approach the top 5. That is going to be some tough real estate at this point. But if he kind of moves himself into that top 10 stature as a wide receiver in the league, I would say him. I obviously, I left Cuffs out. I left Kelsey out. Cuffs my favorite player. So anyway, those are my 5 right now.
Interesting.
Mr. Thunder, what have you got for us?
Mr. Thunder. Okay, I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes number 1. I'm going to go Rasheed Rice number 2.
Wow.
Because I think he's going to be that important in the offense. Number 3 is going to be Chris Jones. Number 4 is going to be Hicks.
I love that.
And number 5 is going to be Xavier Worthy.
Interesting.
So I think the comment, I just cannot wait to see Rice and Worthy on the field together, throw in Hollywood Brown. You got Travis, you got 50 Shades, you got Brashard Smith, and you just Worthy was the offense the last 5 games of the year and in the postseason. They ran everything through him, as they ran everything through Rasheed Rice before. And you still have Travis Kelce, but I think those 2 receivers are in my top 5 right now for sure.
Very good. Very good. Interesting. I like both. There's some different shouts in there. Some I wouldn't have picked. Obviously, you've got to go Mahomes number 1. I'll go Chris Jones number 2. I'm going to go Creed Humphrey number 3.
Okay.
Without Creed Humphrey, there's no ball to be snapped.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He touches it on every play.
He does indeed. And thankfully, they're not low snaps anymore. Number 4, do you know what? I am going to go Noah Gray. I feel like whenever he's out there, he just doesn't drop a pass. He's always there when you need him. Mr. Reliable. And for 5, I'm going to go for... Oh, I'm going between 2 players on this one. Do you know what? I'm going to go for George Karlaftis.
Ooh.
You know what? I think he's going to have a career year this year and just build on what he's been doing in the last couple of years. And I think he's going to get a nice little bag of money from Brett Veach.
All right. So question here. I mean, this is the one. Let's say George puts up 12, 13 sacks.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
So he's on the hook for the 5th-year option. So what's that? What did they say was about 15 million or something like that?
15.2 or 15.3, something like that.
Okay.
Around that ballpark.
We know where the edge market has gone. And I'm not suggesting that he's, TJ Watt, right? Or Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons, but would he command like Trey Hendrickson money? Would he command like $25 million a year? Where at the top you're talking about 40.
Yeah.
Is George a $25 million player?
Someone debated this online today. I saw earlier, and I think to give him $100 million contract, I'm not sure that I see it. Galati is kind of the reason that they drafted him now to see if they could develop him into a Karlaftis so they can maybe ease the burden. Now, I will say this. Brett Veach has made it very clear that he wants to retain both McDuffie and Karlaftis, or he wouldn't have put that 5th-year option out there.
Right.
I think that, again, if the philosophy is to keep this dynasty rolling for another 5 years, yes. But do you pay him $100 million? Would he take less? If let's say they offer him a deal mid-season and say, hey, here's what we're willing to pay you. Would you take that now? And I don't know if that George would say no. Again, what kind of culture you were creating? What kind of atmosphere are you creating? What kind of opportunities are here in Kansas City? We all know at the beginning of every season, the Chiefs are 50-50 to go to the Super Bowl. They're 50-50 to win it. And you can't say that about the majority of the other franchises in the NFL. So if you're a player who wants to get really great money and potentially get a ring, do you give the team that drafted you a hometown deal?
He does have 2. So so he's kind of put those, he's got those in the bank. Let me play devil's advocate. So he's got 2 rings. It may be his one chance,
right,
to get generational, like a generational contract.
Yeah, you're right.
This is it. So that's, part of what they have to weigh. And it just goes back to the philosophy. And that's why you draft Ashton Gelati. That's why you bring in, Omar Lott. Now, again, he plays a different position, right, but, pass rushing is kind of his forte. So, if you can get the rush from somewhere else and you've got, locked in at rookie contracts, George is great. Absolutely great culture guy. I mean, he is the ultimate motor guy. He's got a lot of talent. I think he's got a lot of untapped talent. So that's what they really have to figure out is how much better can he be? Mm-hmm. He certainly will reach his maximum potential, I think, playing under this defensive staff.
I agree.
So that'll be a tough one. I mean, again, he's got a lot of tough decisions coming up even next year, but George and Trent. Yeah, Trent's going to be paid as a top 5.
He'll be $105 million.
Corner.
Yeah. He's getting a $105 million deal. That's the price point. 5 years spread out over, $105 million, probably 65 to 75, 80 million guaranteed. I mean, he's going to get paid too.
And if I read it right, I think the Chiefs are out like right now. And again, this doesn't mean anything, but they're like $37 million over the 26 cap.
No. They're under that. I got it right here. Hold on. Bear with me.
So whilst you do that, Nick, how would you guys feel about potentially franchise tagging George Karlaftis?
I guess it depends on how the Trey Smith thing works out here.
That is true, yes.
I think it is it an either or with Trent and George?
Correct, Lou.
So,
well, here's the reason they're over the cap. 78.2 is the cap number.
Chris Jones's number, Patrick's number is astronomical, right?
Jawan Taylor's 27, so Taylor's going to be gone. Travis Kelce's contract won't be there, so they can fix that pretty easily.
No question. But right now, if you look at it, they're way over.
Yeah, they've got $100 million in cap space in 2027. Sorry, that's what I was looking at this morning.
Right, but that's among maybe a handful of players, because there's most of the rosters.
Yeah, they got some work to do.
So and any team that's good or whatever, this is kind of the issues that you run into. And if you draft well, you have to continue to draft well, because you can't pay them all once those deals come up, and you got to keep backfilling. Right. And I don't know, you want to see, it's like a microcosm of the United States. There's no middle class, right? Mm-hmm. You've got your upper echelon players that are making the lion's share of the money, and then you have to have a bunch of cheap labor kind of holding it all together.
Have to keep drafting well,
right? Which
they've proven to be. I mean, I think this class is going to be as good as the 22 class.
Knock on wood.
And I think it has that potential. So I'm excited.
Yeah, smaller numbers, not as many guys, because they had 10 or 11 picks that year.
That helps.
And I think only 2 of them are not on the team, or
I think.
Who was it? Derek Kennard.
No, maybe. Kennard's the only one, right?
Could be. Could be.
Is Najee Johnson's still with the Chiefs?
But they had the 3 7th-round picks that year, 2 first-round picks, a bunch in the middle, Leo, and all those guys. So Joshua Williams, that's one that we haven't talked about. That should be very interesting to see what his camp looks like, and will he have a role on this team?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for him. I think, again, there's a couple of really good free agent quarterbacks who are young that are out there in the open market. If they don't see Joshua Williams improve, and again, they get the Trey Smith deal done and they lower the cap number, they may have an opportunity to pick up some talent.
Yeah, but if you are a good corner and you hit the market, you're going to get paid serious dollars.
Yeah,
serious dollars. So I guess that's the decision with him. Is he good enough they can play with him?
Right.
Because he hasn't earned a huge deal, so they will get a discount automatically. So a lot of guys have a lot on the line this summer and moving forward.
Yeah,
should be interesting.
We're
getting closer. Getting closer. 11 days, baby.
That's it. Indeed.
Well, I hope you fellas are enjoying your new little screen.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good.
We got all sorts of stuff going on there. Monikers.
Just changing it up a bit. We're good.
Oh, lost him. You're muted.
Hello?
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to have a quick advertisement commercial break. But after that, we're going to have a quick 15 minutes of questions from you guys in the chat. So if you want to leave, just comment your question. It could be training camp related, could be roster related, anything. As long as it's Chiefs related, we'll jump into them after this. Quick word from our sponsors, Underdog.
Play now in Missouri. If you're looking for a great fantasy game, we've teamed up with UnderdogFantasy.com. You can play $5 and get $50. You can use the special promo code Chiefs Blitz. The game is available in 33 states. Check out the availability map. You must be 18, 19, or 21 years older to play, but it's an outstanding game. The app is very simple. You can deposit and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash for new customers, and make sure you use the Chiefs Blitz code, and so you can register to start playing this amazing game. Play Pick'em on Underdog. You can, with all your favorite NBA players, James, Curry, Ball, anybody and everybody who's in the NBA, you can play higher or lower. It is an amazing product. It's very simple to use. If I can do it, anybody can. And just make sure when you log on to UnderdogFantasy.com, make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz.
That's right. That's right. Chiefs Blitz. Just scan the QR code on the right there. Put in the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Deposit $5, play $5, get $50 in bonus dollars, and also you'll be eligible to get a signed Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City Royals, Kansas City Kings, Kansas Jayhawks signed card from my collection. So that's just reason enough to sign up.
You know what I want? I want an Otis Bird song. That would be a good one.
All right. I'll put that on this list. Otis Bird song. Loved Otis. It was so much fun.
Very specific. Nick, what are the people saying? What are
they saying? All right. Tommy had the Chiefs are projected to have about $10 million in cap space next year. John Harrison says Bossa can be a big improvement in the linebacker group. I agree. His pass coverage skills as a safety will certainly help. Crystal Lee thinks that Karlaftis might get Justin Houston money. John Harrison again. Galat is going to show why teams tried to trade up to get him. So let's see. Vinny's on here.
He actually reminds me a lot of George, right?
What's that?
Ashton reminds me a lot of Karlaftis, just kind of like the way he plays and the attitude and the nonstop motor and so forth. So that could be the understudy right there.
Right. All right. So we're going to try to open it up to questions. Anybody's got any specific questions? It can be anything you want, any topic. We're all in. Come on.
Okay.
Use your creativity. Anything we've said today, anything we've said in the past. And yes, if MVS is available midseason, the Chiefs have a need at wide receiver. I say hell yes.
Hey, throw that list away. All right.
Why are we around? Let's.
Yo, welcome to the show. It's a Chiefs Blitz night. Breaking down the plays, keeping everything tight. From Mahomes to the defense, we give you the scoop. Real talk, real stats, we the ultimate truth. This ain't no game, it's our passion on display.
From the baby himself.
Chiefs Blitz podcast, real fans unite. Every touchdown scored, we ignite the night. From tailgate chatter to post-game debate, we love our Chiefs, yes, never too late.
I would even bring MVS back in the middle of the season.
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar, sponsored by ChiefsBlitz.com, presented by UnderdogFantasy.com. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and hence Todd.
I don't know why we did that, but that was a lot of fun. Unless you press the button.
I thought we were done.
So let's answer a few of these questions.
First, hold on before you get to that, Nick. In the meantime, Mango, we need the translator for our German friend.
Oh, he's
figure
here.
Figure out what that says.
I will star it and I will get Google Translate.
Okay, right now. So we'll go Crystal Lee first. You want to see the worthiest return punts this year? I'm on the fence on this one. I don't want to overuse him, but I can see why Andy Reid is doing it. And Andy Reid did tell Xavier Worthy to get his hamstrings ready. He's going to run a lot this year. So I think they're seriously considering it. I don't think he would have just said that. Now, I wouldn't have him do kicks and punts.
Yeah, I don't think full time. Just kind of like as occasionally they throw Tyreek back there if they were looking for a spark or a big play, or maybe if Nico got nicked, on the play before, something like that. But you don't want to have him as the full time returner because you really need him to be healthy at receiver. But yeah, absolutely. Maybe once a game, change it up a little bit. Let's go.
Yeah. So Tommy Hood says, who's the most receiving yards on the Chiefs? Who gets the most receiving yards? I'm going to go Rashee Rice. Yeah. So I think Rashee Rice will lead. I think he's going to have about 1,400 yards.
I think he leads in targets. I have no idea how many yards he does get. I don't know if I could project that, but I think he is going to have the high water mark in terms of targets. So he'll I believe with that, he'll have the most yards.
1,200.
Our friend is back. Do we have a decoder yet?
I do. I have it right.
All right. What's it say?
Thanks to our friends at Google Translate. LB says, when will the Chiefs next come to Germany? And what's your favorite alcoholic beverage?
Oh, like that. Well, okay. For me, I am 9 years sober. My favorite alcoholic beverage at the time when I drank was Stoli vodka. No question, 100%. Just smooth, delicious, on the rocks, no foo-foo drinks, just straight up. It's my understanding there's a really good chance they could be in Germany next year again. So we'll see. They agreed to Mexico or to Brazil this year. They did not want to go back overseas. As far as in the eastern area of the world, they preferred to do something different. But it's my understanding, since they hold the rights in Germany, don't be shocked if they're in Germany next year.
Let's go.
Yeah, especially with the fact they have 8 home games versus 9 this year. So that means 7 home games next year. And that might not be a bad thing, because you got to remember the World Cup is coming this next summer. There's already a lot of renovations. There's a lot of renovations that have to take place to get it back. So I could see the Chiefs going on the road for the first couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens.
Well, they do have grass, so they don't have to worry about that. Some of these other stadiums have to actually put grass in, which God forbid they keep, Yeah. But Ligma, it's all Jack Daniels here.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a Jack and Kirk guy.
All right, fair enough.
I was just going to say, we might be doing something special for the World Cup, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, let's do it. So it sounds like he does not like MVS. He thinks that McCole Hardman is a Chiefs legend. I think I translated that probably. Again, LB, I apologize for the other day. I know you called me rude, and I deserved every minute of it. I was trying to research what you had said, and I researched it in a way that was different than what was actually done. We do have to
say your handle is, quite.
We're just going to don you LB at this point.
Eye-popping, right? And, it's not that kind of show. So just want to get that out there.
Yeah, I don't.
It said MVS back ? What about McCole Hardman, Chiefs legend?
MVS again.
I would say no.
No, probably.
Nothing personal. It's just that MVS is with Seattle. I'm sure he'll get every opportunity to play there. They traded away.
Is it not Green Bay?
He's at Green Bay, yeah.
And yes, McCole is there. So that's an interesting one, because they got a lot of young receivers on that team. They drafted a couple. So he may have a hard time making that team, or maybe he's just their punt return guy.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, next question is, who, from Crystal Lee, who will lead the running back room in overall scrimmage yards? Oof, that's a really good question. For me, it's gotta be Smith. It just has to be. If this offense is going to take the next level, I like Elijah Mitchell. I love Kareem Hunt. I like Pacheco. I think Pacheco's in great shape. But I think overall scrimmage yards, passing and receiving, I want it to be Smith. That's my take.
Yeah, I think if everything goes well, that it's going to be Pops. Just because of volume and so forth. And I think the only way he really doesn't get, I don't want to say the lion's share of the carries, but a healthy amount of the carries is if he does get injured again. So I would never, predict that. I don't want to predict that. So let's say everything does go well. I say it would probably overall would be Pops.
I was just going to say, have we had an Isaiah Pacheco season yet where he's not picked up a knock? I feel like he's always had a little.
Did he get hurt his rookie year?
He did.
He did.
He sprained. He had an ankle sprain. I think he had a high ankle sprain. He was out for.
Well, running back, you're gonna get nicked up, and if you make it through an entire season without one, you really or got lucky, and the numbers are going to go way up, or your chances of getting hurt the following year. Now there are guys that are just Iron Men. Derrick Henry. Right. I mean, you've got a handful of guys.
He's finished.
Nah, I don't think so. But there are guys out there that they're just built differently, and they don't get hurt.
All right.
At least bad enough to miss games.
All right. Tommy Hood says, will Mahomes get 40 touchdown passes this year? Fact. 100%. No question.
I'm going to go 47 to be precise.
Wow. Okay. Let's take small steps. I think he's going to get like 30, somewhere between 35 and 39. I would probably take the under on this one, just because I think the defenses are still going to be playing, dropping 8 guys a lot more. I think the Chiefs, if they're going to continue to be successful, they're going to need to run it more just because of the way the game's going and how defenses have kind of gotten smaller, and you got to take advantage of that so you can, throw the ball downfield. So again, if he throws 35 and maybe like 10 picks and 4,500 yards, I'll sign up for that today.
Yeah, I will too.
I went so high because I feel like we're going to actually be good in this year.
Yeah, I mean, it would. Yeah. But the only thing that concerns me there is when you're throwing for that many numbers and that high, it means you're losing a lot of games or you're behind in a lot of games.
I guess, yeah, I suppose.
Where typically just the way they play, now they're a lot of times playing with the lead or close, so they're not really forced to throw the ball a ton. So that's just, I think, just kind of the way things have gone. So let's take it up to 35 or so. And be glad that they're winning 15 every year.
All right, Crystal Lee, one more question. Will McDuffie have more or less than 3 interceptions? What, he's got 2 in his career now? Or just 1?
He had
one in Cleveland.
Jameis, and then against the Texans,
that's right.
Arrowhead.
Yes, that's 2. So I'm going to go, 3+.
I think Jaden Hakes had 3, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simmons will have 2.
Where's Broncos 2? He didn't feel very confident about
he
the
did
Simmons
say
thing.
he did say that would
not happening. He's kind of a hater, but yeah, the interceptions is a tough one because typically these guys, the guys that are the best of the cover corners normally don't get a lot of interceptions. They just don't get many balls thrown at them, for one, and just his stature. I don't know what it is. It just that the ball he doesn't seem to be a magnet for the ball. So I'm gonna say under.
Okay. I think it's probably going to be bang on for just bang on even.
You won't get Simmons. We will get Simmons if Trey Smith is signed.
Oh dear.
We'll see.
Right, fellas, I'm going to leave you with this because I like to be awkward. Your incredibly way too early Super Bowl prediction. Who's your AFC team? Who's your NFC team? Lou, who have you got?
This might be
put you on the spot here.
I'm going. Run it back. Chiefs Niners.
Oh,
run it back.
The Chiefs trilogy.
Chiefs
the trilogy,
Niners.
Huh? Go for the trifecta sweep.
I mean, can we say that's a three-peat? We win all of our Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's a three-peat over the 49ers. Listen, I think Kansas City. I think the Chiefs. I don't think there's anything that's going to stop the Chiefs this year. I just think they're too motivated, unless they have a ton of injuries. So I think the Chiefs. Now I pick every year for the Chiefs and the Packers because I want a rematch of Super Bowl I. However, I'm going to go completely different. The Super Bowl 60 will be in San Francisco, and it will be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, love that show.
Stafford versus Mahomes, McVay versus Reed. I think that's the Super Bowl we all wanted, a few years ago. And I want to see that one.
I mean, we weren't too far off getting it last year. If Stafford throws the right
Stafford just throws the ball to the guy that's wide open down the field. Yeah,
but I think it's going to be Chiefs Eagles again.
There you go. I hope not.
And I don't
think the Eagles are sustained. I don't think the Eagles can go back to back. I really don't.
No. Well, I'm not saying they win it.
No, I don't think they can go. I don't think they can get there. They've not proven they can have 2 good years in a row.
Okay.
Under Sirianni, they haven't.
So now the expectations pretty good chance that Saquon's not going to go nuclear again. You typically don't see those coming off the 2000 years. Somebody have another huge year. And I just feel like San Francisco is being written off.
Yeah,
they've lost some players or whatever, but I think they've had a couple of decent drafts here. And
it should be better.
the whole thing with Debo, that whole thing was just kind of weird. So, kind of
they won't be as
over
bad as last year. There's no question.
Kind of remaking that wide receiver room and the defense, Saleh back there coaching the defense. I think they're going to be better. So,
Chiefs are
again, that's a little bit of a long shot, but I'm going to go with it.
All right. Fair enough. You, Mango?
Well, I said Chiefs Eagles again, didn't
Eagles
I?
again. That's right. Sorry. BowTie has the Chiefs and the Commanders. I'd like to see that. Tommy Hood's got the Chiefs and the Lions. But it's going to be, everybody's going to say the Bills versus somebody, and it's going to be the Ravens versus somebody, and the Broncos, Chargers,
Raiders.
You still got that Bengals.
Hey, listen, if the Raiders play really well, that's going to muck up the division quite a bit. So I'm not counting on that though. So
I'm telling you, if you could purchase within the NFL ticket just one division, to just get all the teams' divisional games. I want to see every one of those AFC West matchups because I think they're going to be great, really good games.
Yeah, starting with the first one. All right, last question before we head out because I got to roll. Mr. BowTie himself: are the Kansas City Chiefs truly a dynasty? Or are they simply benefiting from having the greatest quarterback of all time? Well, that's a double-edged sword. I think that the Chiefs are in a dynasty. I think that has a lot to do, in pretty much all of it, with the combination of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. If you don't have a generational quarterback, you can't be in a dynasty.
One normally goes with the other.
So to answer the question, yes, they're in a dynasty, and it is because of the emergence and the skill set of arguably the best quarterback of his generation,
Alex Smith. Round of applause.
Yeah, Alex Smith deserves a lot of props too. That will never go. He deserves to go in the he deserves to be in the Chiefs Hall of Fame. No question in my mind.
I think heard it here first, folks.
He brought the franchise back, and he came in and got his chance and played well, got him in the playoffs, and they didn't quite have the success, but he helped restore the Chiefs way and get their swagger, and then they drafted Mahomes, and he teaches them how to be an NFL person before an NFL player.
If you haven't watched the Nagy episode with Travis and Jason, I would recommend you watch it, especially with Travis talking about when Coach Reid came in and just those, like, the leaders that were on the team at that point that just came off of going 2-14 and kind of recounting that, like, the first time he met with them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like really good stuff. They tell great stories, and some of them are kind of the foundation of where we're at now.
All right. Sounds good. All right, guys, I got to roll. Everybody have a great weekend. Check out the BowTie Sports Show tomorrow.
I hope we didn't overstay our welcome.
At 1:30. We'll be back on Monday. We'll get a little bit closer. And, of course, head to ChiefsBlitz.com. I'm doing a series of articles leading up to the first day of training camp. Today's feature was on Rashid Rice, which we talked about at the show. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Like our show. If you want to make contributions to the show, we're happy to accept that with a Cash App at Chiefs Blitz KC. All that aside, gentlemen, Lou, Mango, appreciate your efforts. And we'll be back on Monday.
Have a great weekend.
Peace out.
Take care, fellas.